What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Your boy, just a guy on my lunch break, aka Corey, is back over the weekend. Have several things, positive things to report in terms of my taper. We hit over 800 subs this past week. Thank you guys for that. That's a really awesome milestone, getting forever closer to 1,000. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Conolidine that I talked about, and I've had multiple people reach out to me and say, oh, you had me confused. I thought you were talking about Clonidine, because there's something called Clonidine, right? I think it's CHLOD. Oh, no, I'm sorry. CHLONIDINE, Clonidine. It's like a blood pressure medication, but it's something that they also can encourage people to take for withdrawals from something like opiates. It's supposed to help with that, right? That's Clonidine. This is not Clonidine that I'm talking about. It's called Conolidine. And I'm going to show you right here. I don't know if you can see it. This is what it looks like. Okay, see that word right there? It's probably reversed for you, or maybe it's not. I'm not sure. Conolidine. Okay? So there's been a little bit of confusion there. I've had several people reach out to me, and like, it took me a while to figure out. I kept thinking you were talking about Clonidine, because they say that's supposed to be good for withdrawals. No, this is not Clonidine. This is something that's natural. It derives from what is it, the passion flower, I think, or maybe it's pinwheel flower. Now here I am lying to you. It's from the bark of some tree that's over in Asia or something like that. Isn't that where all this shit comes from? Man, they got some dope plants over there, no pun intended, and trees and roots and all kinds of shit. Anyway, so listen, subscribe to the channel if you've not. It's growing. That's good. It's a platform that helps people. It's a non-judgmental platform. So subscribe to the channel, help it get bigger, help grow this platform where people can come on here and talk about stuff like this, talk about, if they've gotten into some sort of Kratom pickle, because a lot of people do. A lot of people aren't familiar with what Kratom is. A friend or a family member will be like, hey, you should try this. I just took this stuff called Kratom, and man, it makes you feel great, man. It gives you energy throughout the day. I use it to go work out. And people sometimes are dumbfounded by it, and they kind of drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak, and they're like, oh, it's just this harmless, and it's not synthesized, it's a plant, it's just natural, it's not going to hurt anything. And all of those things are true, except, don't get it twisted, it attaches to the opiate receptors in your brain, and anything that attaches to those opiate receptors in your brain, you can absolutely become physically dependent upon those. Okay? Kratom's no different. I don't care what anybody says. And ever since I've been running this channel, we had a big ass laugh about it. I've had people come on at times. It's been a while. Most everybody are pretty educated, but there are people out there that are just ignorant. They're idiotic. They don't know what they're talking about, and they want to keep taking it. So they're believing their own shit, and they'll believe their own shit. And I've had people come on, and Kratom's not addictive. I've been taking this and that and blah, blah, blah for this amount of time, and I never had any problems at all stopping. Whether they actually stopped, who knows? Funny as it is, I call that person out and bust on them and respond back, and, in a respectful way, of course, basically saying, sorry, dude, but you don't know what you're talking about. There are millions of people out here that have absolutely gotten physically dependent. Now, if in fact you have not become physically dependent upon Kratom after your use, I don't know what that reason is. It can either be maybe you haven't used it as much as you think, so you didn't become physically dependent. Maybe you're using very low amounts of it. Maybe you're putting a couple of days in between your uses. If you do that and you're one of those people, you may not get physically dependent. All right? Or maybe you're just not human. Maybe you took the shit all the time and you are actually a extraterrestrial being who is not biological, who is not made of skin and bone and blood and tissue. Maybe that's you. And if that's you, if you're a little gray alien, one of those that, like scoops up cows from pastures and beams them up into their spacecraft and does all these little tests on them and stuff. If you're one of those people, maybe you don't get addicted. You know, if you transcend what we think of as a biological life form and you can literally teleport, become a beam of electricity and teleport yourself into another time and dimension immediately, if that's you, yeah, probably won't get addicted to Kratom. You're probably good. You use that shit all you want to. It's not going to bother you. Like endorphins, well, dopamine. All right, what the fuck do you care about dopamine if you can teleport from one place to another instantaneously? You don't care, right? But if you're a human, just like the other 10 to 12 billion people on Earth right now, then if you take it all the time, daily and regularly, it is going to eventually have an adverse effect on you in terms of you becoming physically dependent upon it, okay? So, I said all that to say this. Thank you for supporting the platform. We get a couple of duds on here every once in a while, people saying stuff like that, like, well, I took it all the time and I never got addicted. No, you didn't. Keep moving. Keep moving. Go to the next channel. If you didn't get addicted, it didn't have anything to do with anything other than you just weren't taking it enough. Congratulations. That's good for you. That's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Maybe you're one of those people that you did a little bit here and there just for shits and giggles, but your real thing is like drinking, or you're one of those people that you're a pothead, you smoke weed all the time, and you found something called Kratom, and you kind of, you know, dabble in it here and there, but it's not like the love of your life like it is for a lot of people. You know, people who have tendencies to be opiate addicted, oftentimes anything else that they might do, whether it be alcohol, whether it be marijuana, whether it be a Xanax, a benzodiazepine, whatever it is, all of those substances all the time play second fiddle to what their first true love is. And that is the absolute truth. But everybody's not built that way. Everyone's not built that way. You know, my wife, I live with someone who, if you held up Kratom or a wine cooler, or like a mimosa, like a champagne and orange juice mix, if you held up a Kratom extract and a mimosa in front of my wife and say, which one would you rather have? She would drink the mimosa. She doesn't, you know, I mean, she likes the effects of Kratom. She likes the way it makes her feel, but it's not her drug of choice, her substance of choice. She's just not wired that way. She would rather drink the alcohol. It's just who she is. My brother's the same way. He likes the way opiates made him feel. He certainly had opiates before in his life, but his first thing is alcohol. Me? No way, bro. 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000, if you held up to me Kratom, or do you want this alcohol right here? Kratom. Immediately. Wouldn't even have to think about it. I would already know that I was going to take the Kratom. I was always going to take the Kratom or whatever opiate it is. So we're not all built the same, but we are all biological beings. And if you are a human biological being, you can ultimately get physically dependent upon something like Kratom. You just can. You just can. And you will. If it's something that you take all the time, okay? So, I want to talk a little bit about this Conolidine. So check this out. This is going to blow some people's socks off. I'm actually down to 11 grams of Kratom. My first day on 13 grams was this past Friday. Okay, that was the first day I took 13 grams. Well, I got this Conolidine in the mail, okay? I got that in the mail Friday. I took a little bit of it Friday evening, but I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to take it. What I've learned now, after discussing it with a couple of people that have used it, after reading a couple of articles on it, what I've learned now is this right here is probably, if you are a person who has an affinity for Kratom, you are probably much like me. You're the type of person, you like the feel-good moods, you like the little energy boost that it gives you, the little euphoria, the little positive head change where you're like, ah, yeah, Life's good, you know. I got energy now. I feel it gives you the energy to get up and go do this, get up and go do that, you know, kind of get your job done better. It makes you more open socially, all those things. All of the reasons, the elevated mood, all of the other reasons that we love Kratom, that's why you love Kratom. This right here, if you are a avid Kratom lover like I am, this right here is going to be probably something that you will want to take at night, okay? Now, it does help with the withdrawals, and I'll go into it subsequently, so just hold tight. But when I first got this, I made the mistake of, I took some when I went out Saturday afternoon. My wife and I went out, we went shopping. You know, obviously my Kratom doses are significantly lower now. I'm taking about 3 grams in the morning. I'm taking another 3 grams sometime in the afternoon. And then I'm waiting on until later in the evening, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening. And then I'm taking a larger, like 5-gram dose. And then I've just been, you know, trying to get through the night without taking very much Kratom, or taking as little as possible. And so we went out, and usually I'm high on Kratom when we go shopping, right? That's just my typical Saturday. Well, I'm trying not to do that, trying to make some changes, and I'm like, okay, well, I got this Conolidine, let me give it a try, kind of see what kind of head change I get, or see if it's a head change at all, or if it helps with the withdrawals, maybe give a little energy, whatever. So I tried it, and my wife actually wanted to try it as well. We both tried it. Well, after about an hour, we were just like, damn, how do you feel? I don't know, just kind of listless, like low energy, like I'm a little bit sleepy, like almost like I could lay down and take a nap, right? And we both simultaneously together were experiencing this. We had both taken it around the same time, right? And it was definitely a biochemical change. You know, a lot of these supplements that we end up messing around with, a lot of times it's like an afterthought, like, well, maybe it worked, you know. I looking back on it, you know, I felt this way, I actually felt a little better, so, you know, maybe it is kind of working. Like the agmatine, the tyrosine, you know, all these other supplements that we're taking on a regular basis. Sometimes it's hard to really put your finger on or wrap your head around whether it's really helping you or not, right? Well, this is a specific sort of head change, but it's the opposite of energy. This is going to be something you're going to want to take at night, right? But we've talked about a lot on this channel. One of the most negative aspects of any sort of opiate withdrawal, and that includes opiate-like substances like Kratom, is the night times, the insomnia, the restless legs, the uncontrolled muscle movements, the inability to be able to not only drift off to sleep, but to remain asleep, right? Those are some of the worst of the withdrawal symptoms, right? I mean, most people can deal with kind of going throughout the day, just not feeling the greatest, a little bit low energy, you know, maybe if you're tapering, you know, maybe your bowels are a little bit more active than normal. Maybe you're just kind of like, I just feel kind of blah. You don't have that type, like, boost that you normally do that you're getting from the Kratom. But all of that is doable. That's stuff that you can sack up, you can push yourself through it, and you can just kind of go into autopilot mode and get through that. But guess what? When you lay down at night and the only thing that you want to do is get some sleep, and your body is tired, and your body is sleepy, and your mind is sleepy, but the withdrawals and the restless legs and the discomfort and the uncontrolled muscle movements and all of that is serving to keep you from going to sleep and staying asleep, that is just a horrible feeling. And it is a feeling much like you were in a foreign body and you just are trying to, or that there is a foreign body inside you just trying to, like, climb out through your chest. That's what it feels like. It feels like something's inside you just like, let me out of here. And you just got this weird, uncomfortable sort of feeling in your chest. And that's what the withdrawal feels like, okay? So Saturday, So you know, I spoke with the guy that actually referred this stuff to me. He actually bought it for me, Preston. Thank you, bro. Again, and because he's used it for his Kratom withdrawal. He did a cold turkey, and he was taking this for several days, and he said he felt pretty good. He felt like it really had some indications of helping with the withdrawal symptoms in a natural sort of way, all right? And so I talked to him on Saturday. I told him, I was like, well, you know, I didn't really have a great experience with it because we kind of took it during the day. It made me a little sleepy, and he came back and he was like, oh, wait now. No, I didn't, you know, this is something you would want to take at night. It will kind of make you sleepy. You know, I know you had talked about, this is him saying this to me. He was saying that I know you had talked about the fact that the worst part about withdrawals is the nighttime, the restlessness, the insomnia, stuff like that. This is going to be something that can help you with that. It's almost a Xanax-y sort of feeling. Don't get too excited for those of you who love the benzos out there. I've never been a huge fan of benzos, but it's without the euphoria. I will say there's like a slight, very, very slight sort of head change that goes along with it. But it definitely doesn't have the extent of euphoria, mental euphoria, that something like Xanax would. But you'll definitely get that whole like, you know, no more racing thoughts. You're just kind of relaxed. You're just kind of chill. You're not really worried about anything. You're just very low key. But it is one of those things, if you take it and then you're sitting still, it will absolutely make you sleepy. And so after talking to him Saturday evening, he was like, oh, no, I wouldn't take it during the day. This is probably something you want to do at night for the whole insomnia piece, you know, since that's the whole worst part of withdrawals anyway. I was like, okay, cool. I got you. So that night, that's what I did. I took my last Kratom dose, probably, well, there was a UFC on, so I was up a little later than what I normally would have been watching it. But I took my last Kratom dose, which was a small one, like a grammer. I took like a gram or something like that around 10:30. I didn't go to sleep in bed until, you know, right at 12 o'clock or a little after, because I was up watching the fights. And I took a nice, you know, full 1 milliliter dose of this Conolidine before I laid it down to go to sleep. Now listen, throughout this taper, I've always been taking at least a couple of grams of Kratom throughout the night, because I've been waking up at 2, 3 in the morning, you know, just obviously in withdrawal and feeling, you know, discomfort from being in withdrawal. And so I took a nice healthy dose of this when I laid down, and I noticed when I woke up at 3 o'clock, I was like, damn, I actually don't feel that bad. I don't feel that bad. You know, I like noticed a little bit, but again, this is only the second time I had taken it, right? So, and it's also one of those things where you have to take it a couple of times for it to kind of build up in your system. And so I woke up, and my withdrawals were a little bit, you know, and this is me at coming from 13 already down to, you know, 11 grams at this time. And I took this, a milliliter of it, went to sleep, and when I woke up at 3 o'clock, normally I wake up at 3 o'clock and I take a full 2 grams, you know, which is 4 capsules of Kratom. That's normally what I've been doing. Well, I woke up, I only took 2. I only took 2 capsules, so I only took a gram of Kratom, and then I took another little tiny, maybe like a third of a milliliter of this, and I laid back down, and guess what? I slept like a freaking baby. And this stuff, you know, starts to work in about 60 seconds. It's pretty quick. You just drop it, you know, in your mouth sublingually, and then you just hold on to it in your mouth for 30, 60 seconds. Some recommend 30, some recommend 60. You hold it there, then you swallow it, and it takes effect pretty quickly. Okay, so I woke up Sunday thinking, damn, okay, I'm already down to 12 grams, right? That's good. I was just at 13 grams 2 nights ago, so I'm... And that was my first day on 13 grams. So you're talking about my first day on 13 grams, Friday, and then by Saturday, I'm already dropped down to 12 grams and was able to sleep throughout the night that way. So I knew that I had to be attributing that to this, right? So then yesterday, I was like, all right, now that I know kind of what I need to be using this for and how I need to use it for withdrawal, let me strictly just go with this for the night. I had my Kratom there beside the bed just in case it was a fluke sort of thing, and that I needed to take some throughout the night. But I took a nice milliliter of it before I lay down to go to sleep. Slept, and this is only on 11 grams of Kratom, okay? Slept very nicely up until about 2:30, 3 in the morning. You know, woke up like I think to go to the bathroom or something like that. I wanted to make sure I didn't wake up in any more withdrawal, so I took just a tiny amount, not that much. I took maybe not even maybe a quarter of another milliliter, whatever that translates to, 0.25 of a milliliter. So I took another smaller amount right around 3 o'clock, completely skipped my nighttime Kratom dose that I've been, those 4 capsules that I had laying beside my bed, I didn't touch them, just took a little bit more of this, and I slept. And I slept like a baby throughout the rest of the night. It has to be this. It has to be this. There's nothing else I'm taking, nothing else that I've mixed into my regimen other than the Conolidine. So yeah, that's my experience with it. And right now, I am down to 11 grams. Now, there's always that thought. There's always that thought, and I can't answer this question yet. You know, if I do this, and then you know, get down to, because I'm probably going to get down to 10 grams, maybe something like that, and I'm probably going to chill there for a little bit and let my body kind of get used to it. You know, the biggest thing for me right now is to show that this taper can be done. I have people message me all the time. I had a guy message me the other day, like, okay, I'm up to 80 grams of this shit. That was what his message said. And I feel for those people, man. I do. Because I've been up to, you know, probably not quite 80, but a couple of months ago, I was up to a point where I was definitely taking at least 40, 50, and even close to maybe 60 grams in a day. Just asinine amounts. I did not feel comfortable with that. So for me, the biggest thing is, you know, a couple of months ago, I'm taking 50 grams, 40, 50 grams. Well, now I'm down to almost 10, right? And I can tell a big difference when I'm down to smaller amounts like that. Like, I had to go get my blood work done at my doctor's office, my yearly, you know, blood work that they do. I had to go get that done this morning, so I couldn't eat or drink anything for like 12 hours prior. So I got up this morning, and I didn't drink coffee, I didn't take Kratom or anything, and I went to the doctor's office for the first time in a really long time without anything in my system, right? And I could tell, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of that is just a result of, once you start getting down to the lower amounts, those interdose times where you're not dosing are just not as bad. Your mood is not as low. You know, it's all relative, and I've told this story a million times. If the amounts you're taking are up here and you're taking really high amounts, the withdrawals that you experience when you stop taking or lowering your dose from these amounts, your withdrawals are also going to be way up here. So that low mood, that anhedonia, that depression, that low energy that you experience when you're taking amounts that are 40, 50, 60, 70 grams per day, those interdose times, you're going to feel like shit up here, and your withdrawals are really going to be bad. If you're only taking 10 grams a day and your body's starting to kind of get used to that, you'll find that you can go 3, 4, 5, 6 hours without taking another dose, and it's not, you don't feel that bad, you know, like you notice it a little bit and you want to take it just like you always